Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is December 5th. This market doesn't know what it wants to do. Currently, it doesn't really know what it wants to do. The theme continuing, tech is weak. Okay, that is QQQ is just weaker, right? Money is starting to rotate a little into some stuff that's been down a little bit, healthcare, financials. Okay, so tech's had a nice run this year. I'm not saying we're just going to fall out of bed right now, but that's what's going on. That's the truth. That's the fact of it. So 45.65 is where the ES is right now. That's the most traded price of the month. Okay, I keep saying this. It's a magnet. It keeps going right back there. Good morning. Good morning, Rosita. Okay, we keep going right back there, and it's there now. So it's a magnet. It keeps pulling the market until we break out of this, which we will. Which we will. Just a matter of when, and a matter of what direction we go. Okay, a couple failed breakouts. We haven't, now yesterday you broke down in the Qs, the NASDAQ, and went back. Okay, so we're going to look at that. 386 is a really key level. It is underneath that right now, the Qs, but the ES is not. Okay, so let's get into this. All right, let's get into this. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile, volume profile to find structure in the market. Also use supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, and the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. All right, this all helps me find structure in the market. Really easy, like a cheat code. Really. I actually did a little video yesterday. I might even share some snippets with it. I did some market breakdown with Rosa. You see her in the chat, and I showed her everything I look at, basically internally in the market and how the market moves around the structure, right? And I'm not a predictor, but there's probabilities in the market, and I pretty much nailed the probability yesterday. She can attest to it about exactly what would happen based on profile, right? And based on yesterday, again, what happened was tech was the only sector that was weak. Every other sector was green. So SPY was going to have a really hard time, ES, to go down. Okay? That's just how the market works. There's components to the market. And you have to understand those components. Okay? If you don't understand those components, then you're maybe at a little bit of a disadvantage. Okay? So, subscribe. Set an alert if you haven't already. Evergreens. Welcome to the channel, Evergreens. Um, Again, if you like my content, please give me a like. All right, that helps out my channel. You could also follow me at X at Gonzo719. All right. Now let's get into this. All right, let's look at some futures. All right, what do we have here? VIX. VIX is up 1.83%, but it's not a lot of fear still. 13 VIX, 13.2. 30-year bonds catching a bid. That should send 10-year yield even lower. Okay, now this is interesting because the markets are down, right? And bonds are being bid up. That's a little different than what's been happening before. Okay, usually when the market goes down a little bit, bonds have been following it a little bit. Today, they are up. Bitcoin's only up 0.43. Gold had a nice little profit take maybe yesterday, up 0.18. Dollar's kind of flat. 10-year yield reports at 820. The Russell's down 0.19. All you really have to do with the Russell is look at KRE. It's a regional bank ETF. Kind of basically follows. Russell kind of follows what that does because of its regional banks. Okay, the Dow is down 0.26. ES is down 0.31. Nasdaq's down 0.44. Silver is down 0.65. Ether is down 0.69. And crude is continuing to fall. Okay, it's down almost 1%. All right, it's down to 72.30 a barrel. Moving on. Stocks I like to swing in day trade. Okay, Apple is up 0.41%. I saw something about India and their plant. They're going to have everything ready. Talking about some chargers or something like that. Roblox. Roblox is down 0.15. Let's talk about the real laggards here. Now, coin was down more earlier. It's definitely paired some of those losses. Pre-market is only down 0.7. Nvidia is down 0.75. Now, Nvidia's got a very key negative gamma level at 450, which was defended yesterday. Okay, right now market's at 451 and change. All right, pay attention to that level, very important. Okay, Tesla down 0.84. Okay, Tesla is down 0.84. Now I'll mention a little level in the Tesla is there. Well, it could change, so I'm not going to say that. But yesterday's flip point for gamma was 237.5. We are now below that. Okay, expect some volatility in Tesla. BABA, I saw Moody's just gave a negative credit rating to China. That's not good. All right, BABA is down again, 1.14%. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to top sector stocks. Right, Walmart is the only leader, which is not much, up 0.1. All right, let's go to some laggards. Home Depot had a nice little pop yesterday, up down 0.31. Here we go. Crude is definitely affecting Chevron and Exxon, down 0.4 to 0.43. Okay. Salesforce is down 0.67. Okay. One thing to note: CVS talked about their forecast for 2024 and it's exceeding expectations. Well, they were up 2% before. They're already down they're up 0.76. So that's pulled back a little bit. That was some news. Okay. Let's go over to sectors. Now, sectors. That's not a leader, utilities. However, they're flat, right? So let's just go to some weaker ones. Technology, that's the largest sector in the market. It makes up 29% of the S&P, okay? That's going to move market. Okay? Discretionary down 0.32. Energy's down 0.45. Communications is down 0.48. Okay? So tech continues to be weak. All right. Now the weakest sector off the bat is QQQ. It's down 0.5. Strongest is the Dow. Only down 0.28. Okay. Now let's move on. Let's move on to some market news, some economic calendar. All right. Let's do that. Let's do that. What do we got today? Today we have S&P Global Composite PMI. That's at 945. Okay, so two of these are coming out. I would stay away from any kind of trade right there. And then you have Jolts Jobs openings in ISM services at 10 a.m. Okay, so 10 a.m., 945. Unless I'm in a trade, which is rare, like at the open, probably going to wait. I'm not going to get, that's going to cause some volatility. You know, obviously if you're in an option swing play, that's not as important. But for me, I day trade. So if I enter something, I don't want to get whipped out my stop loss. Okay, so that's what's going on today. All right. And I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, we can look at the Fed watch tool. Let's just see. FOMC. I mean, everybody's expecting pretty much a pause. Okay. So right now, Fed Fund futures, they're looking at a pause, and it's 99.9% of a pause. This hasn't been wrong all year. So, but it's 99.9%. All right. So that's what's going on there. There was something else that I want to show you guys. Not really. Not really. We can keep this moving. Okay, the one thing I did want to show you guys, actually, is this 1 hour chart. All right, we're going to look at the 1 hour in the ES and the NASDAQ. They both got something interesting going on. Let's look at those. So this is the ES. Okay, so notice this trend line. All right, look how many touches this has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that trend line's been honored. All right, and I just use that as confluence because obviously this trend, somebody's buying every time it touches this trend line. Okay, we just came down to it again, bounced off it. Okay, now in the ES, you're below the most traded price of the week and the month. Okay, you have demand right here. Okay, so this is the trend that's been holding. If you break this demand, we're probably going to find ourselves down here 45.25. Okay, but yet to be seen. Yet to be seen. Okay, so now if we're looking at, of course I minimize this chart. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Now look at the NASDAQ has a little channel going on here. Notice this has been honored. So you got a downtrend here, so you got a touch here, touch, 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 touch. Okay, now right now we're in the middle of this channel. You can see over here we have a touch here, touch here, touch here, double touch here. So you know, you got supply over here, so we can move over here. If we tag this downtrend line here, or if we come down and bounce. Now yesterday what happened is there was a gap here and we partially filled the gap. This box right here is the gap, so the gap extends all the way to here. Okay, you can see to the left this big candle. Okay, so this is still an unfilled gap. Does that move down and fill the gap? Possibly could see a fill the gap right around here, around 156. Okay, maybe this sparks the Santa Claus rally. Okay, I don't know, just showing you guys. I thought these were very significant lines. Okay, and then we're going to get into the daily charts. Okay, so that's that. Let's move over to the daily charts. All right, let's look at the SPY. All right, so what did we do yesterday? Let's zoom in a little bit here from this top move here, maybe a little back. Okay, so yesterday, not much to report. Here's this trend. Boop. Right, 9 EMA daily. Okay, so SPY is definitely just in balance, right? 456 in balance. Nothing to see here yet. Okay, nothing to see here. And what did we do yesterday? This is last week's high, last week's low. We're inside last week. We came up to last month's highs yesterday, peaked above it. That was it. Okay, that was it. So your levels really are this level: 453, 43, 450, call it 454. That's the level to defend for the SPY. All right, I believe if that breaks, we're probably going down to here, 450. Okay, where are we now? 455.33, 455.33. Now, right now, currently, we're at the lower portion of yesterday's range. Okay, the lower portion. Move on to the Qs. So the Qs is a little different, right? So here's the orange right here, and here is last week's highs and lows. We broke last week's lows. Now look, we broke this, came all the way down to here. Right, you look to the left, you can see there's support here and the 20-day simple moving average. So we got a nice buying excess here, and we closed above last week's lows. Okay, but there's still some weakness. Okay, there's still some weakness. Now, where are we at now? 384, say 384.80. 384.80. It's right here. It's kind of in the middle of yesterday's session. Okay, so 386 is a very key level for the Qs that needs to hold. Okay, now there's the gap. Look to the left. There's the gap, right? We partially filled it. Now, if you look here, you got a level at 378, and then we possibly can come all the way down to 373. Okay, but a gap fill would be around 378.50. So just keep an eye on that. That could be the pullback for the Santa Claus, right? Who knows? I'm just saying that seasonality is something that's there for a reason. Okay, so it's all about 386, 354 in the SPY. Pay attention to those levels. Okay. All right. Now let's look at a triple-headed monster. Because this bond market. All right. See, we're holding this 4.2. Okay. So right now 10-year yield is down 1.75%. It's down to 4.2. This is support right here. If it breaks, we're going down to 4.08. Okay. That's showing that the bonds are being bought. Okay. Yields go lower. Usually this keeps going lower, stocks go higher. Now you are still seeing strength in the Dow, the Russell, and the ES, the SPY. You're just seeing weakness in tech, really. Okay, so we have to see. Okay, tech has had a big rally all year. Could it be people are taking profits for the year? I don't know, but it's definitely what's happening. The VIX a little elevated, but not much to talk about here. A lot of complacency. All right, now we go to the dollar. The dollar is in between this 102.71 and 103. Okay, it's above the 200-day moving average now. So let's just see what happens here. Okay, let's see what happens here in the dollar. Okay, let's move on. All right, let's go to my favorite thing, market profile, volume profile. Let's do that. And we'll look at structure. Okay, and basically what you're looking at here is a whole lot of nothing. Okay, now most traded price of the week has moved a little bit, but it still doesn't matter because this is the area that's been the most traded over the last week in the month. Where are we? Right here, right there. 45.65 is the magnet. The market keeps going to it. Almost every time we open around here. Okay, so it looks like we're going to maybe do that again. All right, you just look at the profile, you can see there's the value area, 70% of the trade, right? That's value. Most share price of the month, right? Then we have a little excess. It's just in balance, okay? Just in balance. The market's deeming this price as the most fairest price, 45.65, and keeps going back to it. All right, remember, the market's an auction. Okay, so let's look at structure. So we're right here. You're in the chop zone. Okay, what this means, it is going to be an inside-out trade. Now, I don't really like to trade that, but we are going to test here, right? Top of here or here today. It's inevitable. We're going to test it. We're in the middle here. You got to push out. You have to. Okay, that will happen. Okay, now let's look at how we are structurally. Okay, now normally, look at this. We opened here, almost no long activity to all short activity. That is 100% net short. Normally, I'd say, ooh, that looks nice for a reversal, but we're in the middle of the session, so that is no longer an edge. It will be an edge if the market's down here. So that's yet to be seen, but right now that is not an edge. So if you're down here, you're 100% net long, and then net short, I'm sorry, net short, and we can't go lower, you're going to reverse. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Now what do we have here? We kind of have a weak low here. So just think of yesterday's low and the overnight low is equal. That is susceptible to get broken. Now I'm not talking about a breakdown. I'm talking about it could be a little move and defend it, but that is susceptible to getting broken. All right. Let's look at yesterday. We got yesterday's high, yesterday's low, overnight high, overnight low. Price right in the middle of yesterday and the overnight. That is no edge, nothing to see here. You're in a chop zone. Wait till you get to the edge to be active. Okay? That's really it. So, really it is the weak low. You got the big level in the middle, 45.65. We're going to push one way or the other. All right, let's get into scenarios. Oh, that was your market profile, buying profile analysis. Now we can get into the scenarios, right? So once we get into scenarios, we'll talk about what could possibly happen. Okay, so here we go. ES. Name of the game. If you're a bull, what you want to see, one or two things. If the market comes down here, like I said, it would be 100% net short. Okay, you come down here into this demand zone that's been defended multiple times. Usually a little bear trap is when people don't know there's a weak low here with the overnight. People think we're falling, and what happens is you get a move push down, and then we kind of just get higher lows, 100% net short overnight. What happens is you got the most traded price of the overnight here. When you take that out, you start to traverse, and you're going to probably test yesterday's highs. Okay, that's one. The other one would be if the market, like I said, it's going to go inside out right now. We're going to go here. That was just gave you that scenario. But what if it goes here? Well, if it holds above these levels like this, we're going to test probably this supply zone. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. Now, as far as the shorts, right? Let's talk about that. Okay. Again, we're going to test something. So one thing that could happen is this: come down, come into this demand, suck some shorts in, but guess what? You can't break that level, and you start holding. You can get some move down here to test the bottom of the bracket. That's the demand zone, right? If it breaks and starts to hold, possibly can go down to the 20-day simple moving average, and you get the move lower in the ES. Okay, that's one. Now two, what happens, right? What happens if the bulls manage to push it up into this supply, the top of the range? Well, there's a good supply zone here. If you get some lower highs and people start shorting the top of the range, well, we're probably going to end up coming back into this magnet. Okay, possibly test the bottom. But at this point, if you went all the way up this high, I would think you test the bottom and maybe pop and you balance off here the rest of the day. Okay, because you're in balance right now. Okay, everybody's shorting the tops, right? Buying the bottoms. That's what's happening. Okay. Now remember, certain sectors have turned strong. Okay, so industrials, financials, healthcare, even stables were strong yesterday. Only thing was tech. All right, but that's a big part of the market. Now, let's move over to the Qs, right? Because that's noticeably weaker, right? You could even see it right here in the chart. You could see structurally, it's just weaker. Let's look at the profile. So we got a nice little balancing profile. Got the move down yesterday, right? Got the move down. Now, I talked about this level yesterday. This was the weak low right here. So I did put a short on yesterday based on that level. I saw some weakness and the market moved down, right? and it partially filled this gap, but then the market recovered. Okay, now let's make this a little bigger. Okay, so let's concentrate on this structure-wise. Okay, so if you notice something here, this broke this level here. Okay, that's about 15. What is that? 15860 right here. Okay, 15860 right there. All right. Now structurally, look what we're under. Most traded price of the week is here. Most traded price of the month is up here. We're underneath all of that. So that's bearish. Okay, that's a bearish structure. You don't have that in the ES. Yeah, good job, kid. That's my daughter. I introduced her to Mario Brothers, and she's obsessed with it. She just beat a board she never beat, so she's excited. So anyway, this key level right here, right? Check this out. All right. So this is the structure we're working with. Now look at this. Here's the open and the overnight. Everything's short, 100% net short, but we're in the middle of the range. We're in the middle of yesterday's range. That is similar to the ES, right? We're just structurally weak. Structurally weak. Okay? So, let's look at the chart. What is it telling us, right? We're underneath the 20 simple moving average in the futures. Okay? Here's the highs. Notice the high only went to the most traded price of the week. Okay? So we got yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows. Okay? Overnight highs, overnight lows. So we're at the midpoint of yesterday's session. We're underneath this break lower level. That is bearish, okay? It's bearish structure. The market's telling us, or not the market's telling us, but the market's showing us, right, that we're below these key levels. And we're holding. Market's accepting lower prices. Right? Now, what's the market's job to do? Okay, so the most traded price of the week, this is rolling. Okay, so what the NASDAQ, in order for the bears, what they want to see is they want to see this most traded price move lower, build out some volume here. Okay, because what happens is value needs to follow price. When that happens, you have more of a chance to go lower. Now, conversely, if the market cannot pull value lower, if value doesn't follow price, price returns to value. It's like a boomerang, it's like a slingshot. You only can stretch it so long before it snaps back. Okay? And so if you ever hear me say acceptance, acceptance is when if we make a move, let's say we move and say today, what all we do is this, like if we just do this and we build out value and you see the profile kind of build out here and overtake and move this down, most likely you're going to get another leg lower. Okay? So very easy here as well. It's not as I like the ES a little better. Okay? However, you know, it's a little tricky, right? So I would like wait for a couple things to happen. So wouldn't say I'm crazy about a long in tech, okay, at all. So I'm going to start with a scenario. All right here, and this supply zone here. Okay, so what I would say is if we come up into this area and it's the bottom of this kind of like bouncy area we just broke, and I would say you'd use this most traded price of the week, which is around 15891, as your line in the sand. And there's monthly VWAP there as well. So if you hit this and can't go above it and come back down, that could give a chance to make a move lower. Take out these overnight highs, test yesterday's low, and start filling that gap. Okay, possibly fill the gap. I don't know if that's all in the move for today, but I'm just saying that's a scenario. Okay, that's really what I would really harp on, is that, right? Of course, in a bullish scenario, let's say you come down, you get a little selling, take out the overnight, and then you test yesterday's low here in the gap, and if that gap holds, you start getting lower highs. Well, I could see us possibly going up to here and balancing off for the rest of the day. So I'm not a big fan of the long in the NASDAQ. Okay. Now, one other thing I'd like to show you, and I'll leave you guys with this, all right, is one second while I pull this up right there. Just wanted to show you guys this chart. All right, so this was the gamma levels yesterday for the Qs and for the SPY. Okay, gamma flip point was 458 in the SPY. We're in negative gamma. Underneath this is negative gamma. So when you have negative gamma, it's more volatile market. All right, rips tend to get sold, right? And then you have violent moves down, but even the violent moves back up. Okay, so negative gamma means more volatile markets. Okay, look at the Qs. The flip points were 388 and 389. We are negative gamma all day. So this move that I shorted right here, which was also yet last week's lows, we broke. Like, see how strong of a move that was, right? But then look how strong of a move back. That's why it's volatility. It's negative gamma territory. It's just more volatile. Once we get above these flip points and become positive gamma, that's when people usually buy dips, and you get more of a less volatile market. Okay, you kind of mosey on up, you kind of pull back, people buy it. So that's where we're at in the market. So negative gamma, it's just bigger volatility. Doesn't mean you short, but we're in negative gamma. Okay, so just wanted to point that out. Again, subscribe, set an alert if you enjoyed this content. Okay, also give me a thumbs up if you like it. Help out my channel. You can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, I hope everybody has a good day. Stay green, stay patient. We got our plan, we got our scenarios. Okay, and just try to stick to them, right? Don't get tantalized by price action. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.